Nope.
Alright, Martin, you want to see what else we got in the P.O. box? Asked Cory as he switched the camera to his trusty co-host. What's in the P.O. box? Replied Martin. Alright, well, it looks like there's some things for you, some for Tommy, and just one for me, said Cory, handing out the gifts to their recipients. Tommy, the third host, happily grabbed his box.
Aw man, I wonder what it can be.
Exclaimed Tommy as he unwrapped his present.
Oh no, a film poster for training day? Signed by Mr. Washington himself? This is amazing!
You have got to be shitting me, roared Cory as he threw his mug to the ground, shattering it into pieces. That gift's clearly for me! Martin shook his head and replied, Nah, it has Tommy's name on it. A thoughtful gift from our man, Nigel Duncan. The name alone made Cory's eye twitch. Nigel was always finding ways to get under Cory's skin, and he was slowly nearing his breaking point. Martin raised his hand and broke the silence. But hey, you got a gift from him too. Maybe he got something good this time. Right, Cory grunted. Probably a poster of a dick or something. He grabbed his box and half-heartedly ripped off the elegant wrapping to reveal a decorative vintage wooden box. The guys looked at each other, surprised at the quality of the exterior packaging. Intrigued, Cory proceeded to open the box. Inside was a doll. Alright, well, this is new, mumbled Cory as he removed the contents of the small wooden crate. With the doll was a scroll and a handwritten note from Nigel that said, Read the scroll carefully, Cory. Wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you, would we? Sincerely, Nigel Duncan. Cory looked up at the guys, who appeared to be transfixed on the doll. Mouths agape and eyes emotionless, they stared at the seemingly innocent toy. The hell is wrong with y'all? Snap out of it! They both shook their heads and looked at each other, confused.
Well?
Asked Tommy.
What does the scroll say?
Cory unraveled the paper and began to read. She who twerks, he proclaimed as he studied the unusual doll. Boy, are you ugly. That face. Even your mother wouldn't love you. Cory continued to read the scroll. Apparently, there's a hood rat spirit inside this doll. This golden chain prevents the spirit from making the doll come to life. Come to life? Asked Martin with a condescending tone. The scroll says, should the chain be removed, the spirit and doll will become one. The three podcasters stared at each other, not uttering a single word, letting tension fill the air. Tommy finally broke the unbearable silence.
Yeah, but this poster is bomb though.
F you, Tommy! Screamed Cory, chucking the doll at the wall. On impact, the golden chain around the doll's neck broke, falling to the ground beside it. Eventually, their show had concluded and the three had all gone home. Cory did not even bother to bring his doll with him. Instead, Tommy decided that he would take it home with him and eventually drop it off at the Goodwill near his place. But he had his priorities. First, he had to get home and get high. Sitting on the couch with his faithful smoke cloud, Mr. Robinson, they both enjoyed some good old green while watching a random horror movie on Netflix. It wasn't long until they both heard something coming from Tommy's bedroom. The unmistakable pitter-patter of footsteps. Tiny, fast-moving footsteps.
What the hell was that?
Asked Tommy as he muted the television.
Probably nothing, man. Stop being so paranoid,
answered Mr. Robinson as he fired up a new blunt.
Nah, man. That sounded like it came from my room,
exclaimed Tommy, rising to his feet to face the direction of the noise.
Listen, bitch, I'm not gonna let you ruin my high. I'm gonna go and prove it was nothing,
declared Mr. Robinson. The thick cloud of smoke put on his sunglasses and confidently floated to the bedroom as Tommy watched wide-eyed. Mr. Robinson entered the room and began to look around.
Like I said, Tommy, it was nothing. Ah!
Mr. Robinson was cut off and began to scream. Then it was quiet. Too quiet.
Hey, Mr. Robinson, quit playing, man,
whimpered Tommy. More silence followed, and fear began to envelop his being. Tommy was tempted to go in and check on his friend, and if he were a white man, he may have just done it. But Tommy, being black as the abyss, knew better than to try to be a hero in situations like this. He ran for the front door and escaped from the house. Unfortunately, Tommy stopped after a few strides outside his home. He realized he'd forgotten his weed on the couch.
I'm gonna need that for later,
Tommy thought, making his way back to the door. This time, he was not going to be so lucky. The door slammed shut behind him, and his speakers began to blast, blaring a rap song Tommy had never heard before. Before he can react, he found himself face to face, or rather, face to ass, with she who twerks.
What the f is this?
Later that evening, Martin found himself at his favorite bar. About ready to leave, he checked his phone and he discovered several frantic texts from Tommy. All of them were urging him to come back to the Double Toasted studio. Figuring it was not too much out of his way, he replied to the text saying he would be there soon. Martin unlocked the door to the studio and turned on the lights. Tommy was nowhere in sight. Puzzled, Martin began to call out to his friend. Tommy? Tommy, you here? I got your text, man. What's the emergency? Nothing. No answer. Not a single noise. Martin began to get nervous and turn around to get out of the building. The door he had entered from had somehow gotten locked, and no matter how hard he tried, he could not set himself free. After a minute or so of struggling, all the lights in the building went out, engulfing Martin in absolute darkness. The haunting silence was broken by a sound that sent shivers down his spine. Tiny footsteps that scurried all around the room. Martin pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. Waving it all around the room, he finally spotted an eerie sight. The doll was propped up in Cory's chair. What the hell is this? Cory! Tommy! Get the hell out of here and let me out. This ain't funny, shouted Martin in frustration. He walked toward the doll and stared at it before noticing the red lights of the camera had come on, indicating a live stream in progress. This confirmed Martin's suspicions of Cory having a hand in everything. The spotlights burst into life, momentarily blinding Martin, and he held his hands to his face. After taking a moment to let his eyes adjust, he opened them to find that the doll had disappeared. Before he could say another word, the room was filled with the same haunting hip-hop. Martin barely had time to blink before it was too late. Cory had come home from the studio to find his place completely empty. His girlfriend Mia had gone out, taking their puppy Mr. Mojo with her. He laid down and dozed off for a couple hours before being awoken by his phone's ringer. The caller ID glowed in the darkness. Incoming call from Martin. "Hello," answered Cory, still groggy from his nap. There was no answer, just slight breathing from the other end before the call was ended. Confused, Cory began to check his messages and found that they had several urgent texts from his friends. They all were telling him to go check the live stream on the site. Some were complimenting him on the great show he and Martin put on, saying it was very convincing. What the hell are they talking about? What show? Thought Cory as he logged onto his computer. Going straight to the Double Toasted website, he saw that there was in fact a live stream in progress. Upon clicking the link, he began viewing the show, and his heart froze. He saw Martin's unconscious body slump back in his chair. His eyes were wide open, and his face was frozen with a look of absolute terror. Right then, Cory heard the front door open with a loud, slow creak. Hello? Is that you, Mia? Cory stuttered nervously. There was no answer. It was silent for a moment before the chilling sound of little footsteps filled the space outside Cory's bedroom. He could barely move and desperately called out to the mysterious visitor. Mr. Mojo? Is that you, buddy?
No.
A frightful, high-pitched voice called back to the now trembling Cory as the door of his bedroom slammed open. At the door stood the doll, she who twerks, staring into the eyes of her new target.
Prepare to be twerked!
Shrieked the ghostly figurine. Her theme began to fill the air, radiating from every device in the house. But Cory stood tall. He took a step toward the doll before declaring, "Nah, bitch! You prepare to get f***ed!" The doll scowled at the now fearless man standing before her. She leapt towards Cory, shaking her ass to the music. With the reflexes of a cat, Cory backhanded the doll, sending her flying into a wall with a powerful thud. Cory put his foot over the body of the doll and began to speak. "Now, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours." The doll struggled in vain to break free from the grip of her oppressor. It was no use. She was about to be ravaged.
Easy way.
Whimpered the doll. Cory began to have his way with She Who Twerks. "Damn, you're better than the vacuum and the pool." He was having such a good time that he did not hear the front door open yet again. A loud gasp was heard from the bedroom door. His eyes looked up to see a sight more frightening than any haunted doll. The furious eyes of his girlfriend, Miss Mia. "Baby, it ain't what it looks like," cried Cory as he stepped away from the doll. "Oh, Cory, how could you do this to me? Why, Cory, why?" Cory begged. "Please, Mia, just let me explain." But it was no use. "No, Cory. This is the last mistake you will ever make." Miss Mia slammed the door behind her and walked towards her petrified boyfriend.
Ah! Mama! Mama!